Okay, I want to show you how to use Desmos to not only type in the equations and graph them, but then to change the viewing window, because that seems to be the thing that we're having the most trouble with is figuring out how to reset things. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just zoom in and zoom out using the plus and the minus. That's just not going to get you where you want to be. So let's look at this example problem. This is not one of the ones that you had to choose from, but here's another type of problem that you could solve with a system of equations. So you're searching for a beach house for a family vacation. You have two choices: the sand castle, that's $150 per night, plus a one-time cleaning fee of $125. So this is how like Airbnb works. You pay per night, and then you also have to pay some fees. So no matter how many nights you stay, even if you only stay for one night, you still have to pay that extra $125, but you only have to pay it once. The Beachcomber is another place that you're looking at. It seems more expensive at $175 per night, but the cleaning fee is only $50. So X in this problem is going to represent the number of nights that you're going to rent the house, right? So you're going to be calculating the total cost based on the number of nights that you rent the house. So we have to write a system of equations for this scenario. So I'll start with thinking about the sand castle. If I wanted to come up with the total cost of the rental at the sand castle, it would be to take the 150 and multiply by the number of nights. Right? So if you stayed 2 nights, it would be 150 times 2. But then you've got to add that cleaning fee of $125. The Beachcomber is similar structure. I would take the nightly cost of 175, multiply it by X, but I'm only adding $50 for the cleaning fee for that one. Now, once you have your equations written, you're going to go to Desmos, and let's see if I can just drag this over. And you're going to type in the two equations. So I've got y equals 150x plus 125. Y equals 175x, that's for the Beachcomber, plus 50. Okay. And when I look at this graph, I'm like, okay, well, I do see two lines, but I definitely don't see an intersection point, and I can't tell, right? Like, I can't really see anything that I need to see in this graph. So we have to make some adjustments. So you do that up here in the tools, in the graph settings. And the first thing that you want to do is add a label. Well, if you go back here, right, this tells you, the problem tells you, X represents the number of nights you rent the house, and Y represents the total cost of the rental. So in Desmos, I am just going to go and I'm going to type those labels in. Number of nights you rent the house, and total cost of the rental. The variables are given to you in the problem, and you'll notice that here it's going to, Desmos will take those titles, those labels, and just put them directly on. Okay, the next thing we have to do is to change the x-axis and the y-axis. We've got to change these values. So you've got to look at what x represents. The number of nights you rent the house. Well, I can't rent a house for a negative number of nights. So I've got to start, I guess, at 0. Okay. And then you just want to think logically. Okay, I'm going on a family vacation. How long is a normal family vacation? Well, probably not more than like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So I'll just go up to 14. That seems reasonable to me. The number of nights that I would stay would be somewhere between 0 and 14. Okay. And then I'll go to my y-axis, the total cost for the rental. And again, I have to think practically about this. It can't be a negative number, so I'm going to change that to 0. The cost has to be a positive number. The total cost of the rental, look at how much this costs. This is pretty expensive. $150 per night, and I might be going for 2 weeks. So the cost of this vacation just for the house could be in the thousands of dollars, right? Easily. If I go for a couple of weeks and it's like $200, almost $200 a night. So I'm going to put like 2,000 in here. Oh, one more 0. Okay. What I want you to notice is that the x-axis is only going from 0 to 14 because that's days. Whereas the y-axis, the cost in dollars, is going from 0 to 2,000. Okay. And it's okay for your x and y-axis to be counted off differently. It depends on the problem. But the good news is, once I made those changes, now I can see the intersection point, and it's right here. at 3,575. Now, once you find that intersection point, I'll leave it up to you to interpret what that means for your particular problem. But that's how you need to adjust your graph. So you go to the tools, right? You've got to put in the titles here where it says label. You put your titles in, and then you think practically about the problem. If it's, you know, number of hours on your ski trip. Okay, well, what's a reasonable number of hours to ski? You wouldn't put 1,000 here, right? So think practically about your particular problem. What kind of makes sense? Number of months that you're going to be, you know, a member of a gym or something. It's going to be, you know, maybe 2 years at the most, so 24 months or something. So think about what your variables are and what makes sense for those variables. Okay.